So can you see my screen? Is it okay?
It is a little bit soft. Yep.
Is it okay now?
Yes. Yes. Great. Better.
Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready with your shakes now?
Um,
Because I don't want to miss any of the slides.
so no one will want to miss out these special tips. Yeah, we are going to start in 1 minute. Get ready your shake, and also we are going to start these nutrition tips with Coach Zidhu. Yay! So I'm going to count down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coach Zidhu, you may start.
Okay. Thank you, Annie. So, good morning, everyone. So I am Coach Sidhu.
A
So
little
today,
bit too
I'll,
soft.
oh, sorry. So today I'll be taking some uh, and sharing information about fats. So some of the myths usually we have with respect to fats. So before we begin, I'll give a small introduction of me. I'm Coach Sidhu. So I have been in my journey since from last June 2020. So far up to today, I have lost 14 kgs and I have seen a significant changes over my skin. I was having skin pigmentation issues. Just simply switching my breakfast to a healthier breakfast, it happened to make me a more healthier and fit person. So being a coach at the same time, I'm also working full time. I'm a HR manager in an international audit firm. So this platform is for the time being part time for me. So I think that's a brief introduction of me. So we'll proceed with today's session, nutrition with respect to fats. Yeah. So, first of all, I would like to highlight some of the myths, some of the misconception people have with respect to fats. I think usually this misconception or confusion rises because of the name given to the macro fats itself. Because fat, people see it causes trouble to you, but with the name also people start getting the confusion. So here are some of the misconception with respect to fats. Fat is not needed to our body. Some people think we don't need fats. It simply rises cholesterol for no reason. If we consume fat, it will rises. So that is some people thought with respect to fat. Makes you gain weight, and some people think animal fat are bad for us human, and some people think fat simply causes cardiovascular diseases, which means heart related diseases. Yeah? So these are some of the means. So throughout the presentation I will explain you why these myths are wrong, why people are just interpreting it in a bad or wrong manner. So to begin, I will just give a simple introduction of fats. Fats is the most highly concentrated source of energy, which means it 1 gram of fat, for example, contain 37 kilojoules of energy. But respect to protein and carbohydrates, it contain half of the energy in each gram, which means around 16 kilojoules. And every gram of fat, it contains 9 calories, which is double the amount of calories in carbohydrates or protein. So it provide more energy, and respect to calories, it is double the amount. So there is one difference between fats and carbohydrates and protein. And fats that are liquid in room temperature are called oil. For example, vegetable oil, canola oil, olive oil. And fats that are firm at room temperature are called solids. So every day we use these types of fats in our meals, in our daily life. So these are two different types of fat when it comes to room temperature. So basically, fats is divided into two groups: good fat and bad fat. So and they come in different varieties. So good fats, usually they are polyunsaturated fat and monounsaturated fat. For convenience throughout the presentation, I will just simply refer as mono and poly. And bad fat, they are subdivided into two groups: trans fat and saturated fat. So we obtain these two types of fat uh, via different types of food that we eat. For example, poly we obtain from vegetable oils such as corn oil, and mono from olive oils, and bad fat from pastries, biscuits, cookies, things that are available on shops or counters, and animal fat, dairy products. So why we are calling these some of the fats good and some of the fats bad? What is the reason that we are calling they are good or bad? So basically the reason is the impact that cause to our health these type of food. uh, I think usually we hear at the same time good cholesterol and bad cholesterol also. So people sometimes get confused that are fats, cholesterol, are they both the same thing? So technically both are two different things. Fats and cholesterol, they are two different things. So cholesterol is not fat. It is a fat-like substance that is present in every body cells, which is highly important for different types of process in our body. So a certain amount of cholesterol always circulate in our body, but when it circulate, it doesn't circulate uh, as is on itself. It circulate as chemical packages called lipoprotein. So that is the difference between fats and cholesterol. Fat is different because cholesterol is fat-like substance, not simply fat. So what are the types of lipoprotein? So there is LDL and HDL. So this is very common among us. We call these types of lipoprotein good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. So LDL usually is referred to as the bad cholesterol, and HDL usually is referred to as good cholesterol. So LDL uh, is produced in the liver. Cholesterol is produced in the liver, so it is uh, transferred into different areas of our body. If there is excess amount of LDL cholesterol circulating, it gets build up walls in artery walls. It get deposited in artery walls, which is bad for health diseases. So what HDL do is, if there's excess amount of cholesterol, it takes back to the liver where it is produced. So that's why HDL is referred to as good cholesterol. So these are two different types of cholesterol. Yeah. So the number one myth is, I told you, fat rises cholesterol. Let's bust this myth. Yeah. So as mentioned earlier, there are good fats and bad fats. So among good fats, there are poly and mono. So for example, omega 3 and omega 6, those are good fats. What they do is they lower the LDL. As I explained you earlier, is if LDL is higher, it might uh, causes you some heart related diseases. There is a chance because of this. So when we consume polyfat, it lowers the LDL, so it makes us safe. And when we consume monofat, for example olives, avocados, it increase the HDL, which is the good fat. So as we know the good fat helps to take the excess amount of cholesterol back to liver with reducing the chance of depositing in the arterial walls. So from this we know fat is not harmful. It is helping us to lower down a bad cholesterol. At the same time, when we consume monofat, it helps us to increase HDL. So simply, fat is not impacting our cholesterol. At the same time, it is even helping to stabilize our cholesterol level. And the second one, fat is not needed to our body. Some people have this misconception, we don't need fat in our diet. So this is again another wrong confusion, because in the macro, fat acts as support for hormonal changes, for hormonal balancing. So fat is important for our body, like we need it every day in our meals to a certain level. So as mentioned earlier, fat supplies a lot of energy. It can supplies a lot of energy with respect to compared to protein and carbohydrates. So fat provides essential fatty acids like omega 3, omega 6, which are very important, which are essential fatty acids that we cannot produce ourselves. So as fat also has a role in regulating hormones, body temperature, immune function, production, insulin signaling, and nutrition absorption. So, for example, if we have a certain amount of fats in our body, it helps to absorb important vitamins, minerals like vitamin A, vitamin D, E, and K. So it plays an important role in absorption of these vitamins and minerals as well. So another myth is fats make you gain weight. So technically, it doesn't simply keep adding weight. The thing is, when low fat or no fat products, when they are prepared, companies simply remove the some amount of fat from it and then replace it with sugar and artificial sweeteners. As we know that if there is an excess amount or more sugar or even chemicals or sweeteners, it will like increase the number of calories and it will make us gain weight. So the problem with these type of low fat product is it in the label you can see it is low fat, but as a replacement they are adding sugar. When sugar is high, it is more calorie, and that is one reason that we gain even when we take low fat products. So technically fat doesn't make you uh, gain excess weight, and even researchers have shown that people who take moderate amount of fat loses just same weight as those who consume low fat or no fat products. So this is also another misconception. And another one is animals fat are bad for us. So let's try to recall with respect to the good and bad fat I explained earlier. Omega 3 and omega 6, it is obtained from animals. Yeah, so we know these types of fats our body cannot produce. So animal fats are important for us. For example, omega 3 are anti-inflammatory and reduce the risk of cardiovascular and nourish our system also. So simply, this is a very confused and a misconception that we shouldn't take animal fat. We should only absorb fats from plant. So if you are omitting different types of fats, you are omitting the chances of getting different types of nutrition or essential fats to your body. So in your meal plan, it is very important to balance these types of important good fat throughout the day. So the other myth is fats cause cardiovascular diseases. So as we know, cardiovascular diseases is not only because of excess amount of it, there are other reasons. Maybe it's genetic, family related, that the way your lifestyle is, your physical movement. So we cannot simply boil down that fat is the only reason that is causing cardiovascular diseases. There is a chance that if there is an excess amount of LDL, if there's an excess amount of cholesterol, that it can lead to such type of danger or harm. So since in the previous slide also, as I explained you, it affects lowers LDL, so it lowers the risk of heart related diseases. And if, when we consume mono fat, it increases the HDL. Again, it helps us to lower the risk of heart diseases. So this is also a wrong misconception with respect to fats. So the question was before, is fat harmful for us? So now we come to realize that not all the fats are harm for us. There are good fats. And usually people ask, if that is good, can we take more? Anything good should not be taken excessively. There should be a certain level, a certain amount that you should take always. So if you take good fats, it will ultimately increase the number of calories. So we try to keep in a certain amount of calories in our daily meal plan. So even though they are good, you should take to a certain amount, to a certain level. So if you are taking excess amount of fat, again it increases the calories. Sometimes when we say like almonds or hazelnut, these nuts are very good for us, but if we are taking too much of it, it will causes uh, excess amount of calories. Yeah, so we should be careful with the respect to the amount we take. So for example, if you are on a 2000 calorie diet, the maximum amount of fats that you should consume in your one day meal is 66 gram, which is total calories should not exceed more than 30% from the fat source that you are using. From that, 10% should be saturated fat, which is a good amount of uh, uh, saturated fat. And from that 30%, 20% should be mono and polysaturated fat. So usually 2000 calorie diet are diet usually take by those who maintain or want to gain some muscles. So for example, if you are on a 1200 calorie diet, so this usually this amount of calorie diet is usually people who are looking forward to lose weight. So if you are on 1200 calorie diet, the best is to take 40 grams per day. So 10 grams from that, 10% should be saturated and 30% should be poly and mono unsaturated fat. So you can't, even though fats are good, there should be a specific amount that you should take in your meal plan. So here are some of the foods that we usually use in our daily meal, but we have to understand the amount of saturated and unsaturated fat it has. So it will make us easier to understand that we are making a right choice. For example, as you can see in this table, there are animal and plant-based fats. And if you can notice, cholesterol, it is only present in animal-based fats because plants do not have cholesterol. So when you choose a specific type of plant, I mean animal-based fat, just keep in mind the amount of cholesterol also that will be included in it. So when you choose the fats, just check the saturated and monosaturated and polysaturated. Remember, poly helps to reduce the LDH level. At the same time, mono unsaturated fat helps to increase the good cholesterol. So keep that in mind when you choose different types of fat. So here is again a comparison of mono and polyunsaturated fat which are present in daily oils that we use. For example, coconut oil, it has high amount of saturated fat compared to safflower oil, which has high amount of monosaturated fat. So occasionally it's okay to use saturated fat, not frequently, not every day. So try to always make the best choices when you see some of when you buy or purchase this type of oil or butter. And here are some of the common nuts and seed that we use. So from this table we can see uh, almonds, brazil nuts. So usually we use these types of seed or nuts in our shakes or meals when we prepare. So from this we simply can see nuts are very good, when with respect to the amount of saturated and unsaturated fats that are in that. For example, for example, one ounce of nuts, for example, it has almonds, the amount is 1 gram, and poly and mono it is quite high, which means it has a lot of good advantages in these nuts. Yeah. So not all the time we get all the raw materials, but sometimes when we want to purchase different types of pack products, we should be able to identify, we should be able to read these types of labels, so that will be in a safer side when we buy products from the shelf. So here is an example of an NIP. So this one very clearly shows the amount of total fat, even bad fat and good fat, and the amount of energy. So it's better to read NIPs when you buy different types of products. So this one shows there is a saturated and trans fat also. It is very important that to buy products which clearly explain you the amount of saturated fat that it has, because if you daily consume saturated fat, that is not good for your health. Saturated fat is uh, okay to consume occasionally. So it, the products that you use, be careful when you select. So not all labels come completely perfectly. So here is two examples, which is one is incomplete label. So in this one, in this label, simply they have mentioned fat, and we don't know the amount of good and bad fat in it, which means we don't know whether total amount of mono, poly, and saturated fat. So this is an incomplete. Better to ignore these types of products. And here is the second one. The second label shows uh, only total number of fat and poly, monosaturated, and trans. I mean saturated fat. So under saturated fat there is trans fat. We don't know the amount of trans fat in this product. So the label, it seems it is misleading. So again, better to avoid these types of products. So here's a one good label which is very informative. It shows very nicely the amount of trans fat in it. So when you purchase the products, also be careful. Just just give a look on the nutrition information. It is shared on the label. So that's all for today. If you have any question with respect to the previous slides that I shared, you can ask me. So the thing is, you have to keep in mind a big picture when you choose your meals, your ingredients, your types of fats. For example, if you're someone just staying at home, working near the desk, the amount of energy you need will be comparatively less to someone who needs energy, who is working in farms or doing hard work. So just think big when you choose different types of fat. So for example, in Europe or Mediterranean countries, they take very small portion, small amount of fat. Compare to us, like we are having a busy schedule, we our movement is less. we sit for a long time, so we are not consuming a lot of energy daily compared to those who are doing hard work. So it is very important to see all this in a big picture and choose your types of fats.
Any question? Thanks, Coach Zidhu. Any questions? It's very, very informative and actually good sharing to us. Yeah, you actually can type in actually any questions.
Sorry, based on our own each individual body weight, how do we roughly estimate how much of good fats should we take in a day? I'm Jane here.
Jane, yeah, okay.
Okay, so it depends the amount of calorie that you are going to intake for per day. So if you are in a low calorie diet, the amount of fat should be maximum 30% of that diet. So when you calculate again the amount of saturated and unsaturated fat, again it subdivide the amount of the percentage into 20 to 10 ratio. So it depends on the type of meal that you are taking.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions regarding about the fats or bad fats or actually like even though labeling or reading and that you are unclear? So there is a question, what is the recommended intake of avocado per day?
Sorry,
From Jane.
I think that's the avocado simply. So then we have to just refer back to the amount of calories that half of the avocado compose in it. So we have to do a roughly calculation for that. So usually we say half, just general size of avocado, half of it or one fourth of it, it's good to have per day, because avocado itself is a provides us monounsaturated fats which are good for our which increases the level of HDL. So usually we recommend to have at least one fourth or half of it. So it really depends the diet that you are taking. If you are in a low calorie diet, that should be the maximum amount of fat should be 40 gram. So it varies from person to person with respect to your goal. So fat is not simply harmful for us. It provides a lot of advantage for us that we have to be mindful when we include in our meals. To include more good fats frequently and avoid bad fats. And if you are going to use it less and occasionally. So you don't have to be just like a get fear, get scared of it. Fats are important for us. So I think we don't have much questions, right? Can oh, Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everyone.